Okay, this is the 6th lesson of Unit 3. We started with this warm-up. So pause the video to do the warm-up and then play to check your answers. So the first one, there is no GCF. There's no GCF, but I do see 4 terms. 4 terms makes me think factoring by grouping. So I group that. X squared is the GCF for the first group. We're left with x minus 3. Copy the x minus 3. X minus 3 times negative 25 is going to give me negative 25x plus 75. So then the GCF there is, I'll just work upwards, I guess, x minus 3. And we're left with x squared minus 25, which factors into the x minus 3 stays as the GCF, and x squared minus 5 is x squared minus 25 is x plus 5, x minus 5. So that is my final answer. Number 2, I'll go ahead and underline the terms. GCF involves x minus 4 and 2x plus 1. The minus 4 I have to the 4th and I have to the 3rd, so 3 is the highest they share. 2x plus 1 is to the 4th and to the 5th, so 4 is the highest they share. So that is my GCF. So parentheses after x minus 4 cubed, 2x plus 1 to the 4th. Well, x minus 4 cubed, but I need to the 4th for that first term. So I need another x minus 4. The 2x plus 1's to the 4th, and I already have to the 4th. So I'm done with that. Now I'm moving on to the minus sign, and now I'm over here to the second term. So x minus 4 cubed, and I want cubed. 2x plus 1 is to the 4th, and I want to the 5th. So I need an additional 2x plus 1 to multiply to that GCF. So now I have my GCF factored out, and what I'm left with, let's just combine like terms. That's 2. And I have x minus 2x, which is negative x, and I have negative 4 minus 1, which is negative 5. I see there's a negative 1 GCF there. So I'll pull that out front. And when I pull that out or factor that out, I'm left with x plus 5. That is my final answer. And the last one, no GCF, but this is sum of cubes. So binomial, cube root of 125 is 5, plus sign cube root of 8y cubed is 2y. Square the first term gives me 25, minus sign 5 times 2y gives me 10y. And last, square the quantity 2y, giving me positive 4y squared. It's a sum, so plus minus plus is my final answer for that. Okay. And also we did have a ticket in the door today, so if you missed class, you'll need to make that up. Next, we moved on to a few notes today, so you'll need to add that into your notebook. So I looked to see for GCF, there is none. Besides 1, of course, but I see 2 terms and a plus sign. 2 terms and a plus sign means that it's either not factorable or it's sum of cubes. There's no such thing as sum of squares, so I know it has to be cubes or it doesn't factor. Looks like it does factor though, because I'm seeing not only plus sign, but I'm seeing odd exponents, cubes, and I'm seeing that 125 and 8 are perfect cubes. So this looks like a prime candidate for sum of cubes. So I'm going to make the binomial and the trinomial. Cube root of 125 is 5. Cube root of a cubed is a. Cube root of b cubed is b. So cube root of 125a cubed b cubed is 5ab. Plus sign, cube root of 8y cubed is 2y. So I square 5ab, which gives me 25a squared b squared. This is sum, so the next term is a minus. Then I have 5 times 2 times a times b times y, which gives me 10a b y. And lastly, we know that sign's a plus. I take 2y, the quantity, and I square it, giving me 4y squared. We already checked for GCF, so we know that the rest is not going to be factorable. Next. So once again, check for GCF, don't see one. Two terms and a minus sign. Well, two terms and a minus sign we know could be difference of squares or difference of cubes, so we have to look for some clues here. Remember the clues. They are to check your exponents and check your coefficients. So exponents 6 and 3. Well, 6 actually is not very telling because we could have x squared being cubed, which would indicate that we're talking about difference of cubes. But we could also have x cubed being squared, which would indicate we're talking about difference of squares. So the 6 doesn't outright tell me which it is, cubes or squares. So I have to look at some other clues. The 3 exponent tells me that this has to be difference of cubes. I can't get a y cubed by squaring a y. So it can't be difference of squares. Also, the other hints would be the 27 and the 64. Well, specifically 27. 27 is a perfect cube, but it's not a perfect square. So that doesn't make it a good candidate for a difference of squares. 64 is a little bit tricky because it is a perfect cube and it's also a perfect square. So that makes it kind of hard to tell. But the two things that make me sure that this is difference of cubes are the 3 exponent and the number 27, because that's a perfect cube only, not a perfect square. So we've determined its difference of cubes. So we're going to go ahead and make a binomial and trinomial. So I take the cube root of 27, and I know that's 3. Now, a moment ago we looked over here and we said that could be cubes or squares. Well, we've determined it's cubes. So that means it's this, meaning that x squared is what's being cubed to give me x to the 6th. Another way of thinking of that is x to some power to another power. Again, we know we multiply these. So if we know it has to be cubed, that has to be a 3, then the other number has to be a 2. That's how I know that it's an x squared that's being cubed. So 3x squared is what's being cubed to give me 27x to the 6th. It's a difference, so minus. The cube root of 64y cubed is 4y. I'm going to go ahead and square the quantity 3x squared. Square that gives me 9x to the 4th. Okay, because we squared 3x squared. I'm going to go ahead and multiply 3x squared times 4y, and I know that this is different, so it's going to be minus plus plus. So 3x squared y times 4y, 3 times 4 is 12, x squared times y, so 12x squared y, and then again plus sign. And then I'm going to square the binomial 4y, giving me 16y squared. Okay, we already checked for GCF, and there was not one, so that is my final answer. Next. So once again, check for GCF. None. Two terms and a minus sign. So it could be difference of squares or difference of cubes. I'm going to look at my hints. Several hints this time. The 3, the 9, and the 8 all indicate that this is going to be difference of cubes. I can't get exponents of 3 or 9 from squaring. And 8 is not a perfect square, and it is a perfect cube. Therefore, it's going to be difference of cubes. So binomial, trinomial. The cubed root of 8a cubed is 2a. This is a difference. So the cubed root of x to the 9th, if you're not sure, remember what we're doing. We're taking x to some power, and then we are cubing it. We know it has to be cubed, and we know that that equals x to the 9th. So x to the some power to the third power, we multiply the 3 times whatever the something is to get the 9, which means the something has to be a 3. So x cubed cubed is equal to x to the 9th. So this should be x cubed. So now I'm going to square the quantity 2a. which gives me 4a squared. I know with difference it's minus plus plus, so plus. I'm going to multiply 2a times x cubed, so that gives me 2ax cubed. And again, we know this is plus. And I'm going to take x cubed and square it, which gives me x to the 6th. And that is my final answer. Okay, after those couple examples, we went back and finished the problems from yesterday. There were a couple problems that I don't think we finished at the end of class. So at the bottom of the second page of the Unit 3 packet, those couple problems there at the bottom, make sure you finish those up.